Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. By the video title, you know what this video is about. Professor Arsenal is back to give you guys some, like I said before, some in-season updates on different draft people. I'm gonna keep this, probably do it like every other week like that, so you should be seeing different ones. And today we're talking about the big boys. We're talking about the defensive tackles. And you know the Steelers are entering this year's draft in 2025. Looking for receivers, most likely. Defensive tackle will be a need as well. And maybe quarterback too, depending on what happens and what occurs and stuff. We'll see. But starting off first with the 5 guys who I think should be some viable pieces for us to get at defensive tackle. I'm going to start off first with Mason Graham, a guy you've seen from the last video I did. He's just a big, relentless, high motor type player. He's a guy who has great strength, great power like that. He's relentless and getting after the quarterback and stopping the run. And Michigan, Michigan has a very good defense, so he's one of those guys who's just a versatile piece on the line, who's just a brute force. I'm not going to say he's a Aaron Donald, of course, but Aaron Donald is generational, but he plays in that type of standing where he's just unguardable. You can double team him. We see him do a great job and like keeping leverage when double teams come as well. He has good hands, good technique as well, bull rushing as well, the 3 technique to getting through the line. So he's just very nice player to have like that. I think the Steelers was to draft and get a pick like that, it would be amazing. I think he might be gone, of course, before we get to us, because I don't think our team will be picking high in the draft. But if we was to trade up, you know, Omar Khan did it before. Mr. Khan did it, I think, before we did Broderick Jones and stuff. So we might see something like that happen. You never know like that. If you have a guy of that magnitude and you want to trade up some draft capital to get him, they might go that route like that. We'll see. But he's 6'3", with 318 pounds, brute force like that, and just relentless force. I think adding him to the team will be a very valuable piece. The next guy is Tyleik Williams, another guy who I had as well from the last video, from Ohio State, 6'3", 227 pounds. I think all these players are 6'3", the same height as me, but I'm not 300 pounds though. They like some gigantic behemoths like that. But he's from Ohio State. He's the guy who ran a 4.6 40. 4.6 40, superb athlete like that. That size, to be doing that at 327, he's an amazing player like that. He's very quick, you know, agile as well. Has some different like versatility to his game too as well. He's very consistent and doing a lot of different things. So I think he will be a guy who could actually fall to that late first round pick type of guy like that. Maybe second round, depends on how things pan out for him this year, but I think he's gonna be a first rounder. But like kind of fall late in that round, we can be able to select him. I think he has potential to be pretty nice. And he's one of those guys we haven't really seen. I don't think he's seen his best yet like that. You see like the plays he made, the plays he made for his team and stuff like that, getting through the line, being very consistent, being very productive. I feel like he hasn't seen his best yet. Like some of these, you know, like in college, sometimes you see guys who come out of college and you know they might not reach their peak in college, of course, but they might reach close to their peak, and then you get to the NFL, they have reached their peak like early on like that. But I think some players, you know, you can see as time goes on, you be like, okay, they actually getting better and better. We've seen it from many different players like Tom Brady. Remember in college, you see a little bit of his stuff, but then when Tom Brady got to the NFL, they start seeing more and more like, okay, it's more to him. It's more to Patrick Mahomes. It's more to these guys like that. It's more to Larry Fitzgerald like that. It's more to different guys. Antonio Brown, remember he was here too as well before he went crazy. It's more to them like that. So like some players had that raw potential. I think he's one of those players who have a lot of potential left that's untapped a little bit. I think getting the right team, right system, kind of like the Steelers, you know, be able to bring it out of him, I think would be nice. We see what Keanu Benton is doing right now with the Steelers. I think adding a guy like Tyleik Williams will be amazing too. Moving on next, Nazir Stackhouse. He's 6'3", 320 pounds, from Georgia. He's a guy who I think will be a nice piece as well. Yeah, he's from Georgia. He has size, strength, good hands. I was watching some of his stuff like that. I'm gonna do a full deep dive into some of the play. I always do, like, you know, I always knew about some of these guys already, but I'm gonna do a full deep dive, of course, as time goes on like that, more and more. But he has good hand usage like that, versatile piece. You see him playing all around the line and stuff. And a lot of these guys too, you know, like the generations after every time get better and better like that. So like, you know, the next generation of players that come up like that gonna be better and better and more superb athletes. You see 10 years from now, 20 years from now like that, they'd be better. And these guys are so versatile. They can do all type of things around the line and stuff. And he has good IQ as well. He's good when bull rushing in. And plus he's from Georgia. Georgia has produced some big time defensive players, and you know, offensive players as well, but defensive players too. I think that they do a very good job. Alabama was kind of like that place at first. Remember Coach Saban was doing his thing, but I think the past few years has been Georgia producing big time players, big time playmakers, guys who can play The line very good, who's good maintaining leverage, good hands in the interior line, and also good at stopping the run. That's the main thing. If you can play out there and you can stop the run, you can play for the run, you're gonna have a big time spot every single time. Of course, getting to the quarterback is one thing. That's good and all to do that in pursuit and being able to bend the line back and stuff like that and being able to make things happen. But I think being able to get out there and stop the run and hold those gaps and stuff and fight through those double teams, that will give you a spot. And he's one of those guys, and he's a stack house. He's built like a house. One of those guys you can have out there and who'll be very dominant, I think, if we was to bring him in. We already got, of course, Brother Jones here. We got Darnell Washington here. We got George Pickens here. Might as well add another Georgia player here. So I think if he was available, it'd be good to have. Let's move on to the next spot. The next spot would be, what's the next one? Howard Cross the third. That's what I have on the list right here as well. Howard Cross the third. Now I didn't know too much about him fully. I heard his name, of course, a few times like that, and I dive into him for like 2 days like that, looking at some of his stuff. I like to see. I like to always look at the highlights, and then I also look at like games. So like, sometimes on YouTube you can just type it in and they'll show a full game like that of their stuff like that. So the good and the bad. So you look at the highlights of all their flashes, all the good stuff, and then you look at the game and you're like, okay, you see the good stuff, you see the bad stuff. I think you see different things they do, and you look at the draft stocks from other people have for them too as well. Scouts have for them. And you're like, okay. I think then you kind of make your own analysis. But okay, I see what I need to see. I'm gonna dive into him more though. But from what I've seen, he had good bursts. I've seen from his stuff, good bursts. He had a high motor as well. He's quick and agile. I wrote down he's very good at closing speed. I've seen a lot of plays where he broke through, and some guys kind of give up like that. Like he's very good at closing the gap like that. We see runners try to break free on the edge or something like that. He's very good in pursuit and closing out and recovering like that. So he's one of those guys who's very agile because he's only I think he's 6'1". He's 6'1", 288 pounds. He's kind of smaller for a defensive tackle. Of course, most of those guys be like 310, 315, 320-ish like that. But he's kind of smaller for defensive tackle in the size. So that's kind of one of the knacks they have on him. You kind of see that sometimes when he plays too as well. I think you can kind of see him getting like stuffed a little bit by some guys. But he has a good consistent ability at shedding blocks like that. Good hand techniques as well. So when I was watching him, I was seeing some great things from him. So I think if you put him in the right scheme as well, he's one of those guys too. I think has a lot of raw potential, because of being undersized a little bit. I think he can gain more weight if the next level of the game. But I think he's a nice piece. I think in Notre Dame, he's doing a pretty solid job like that so far in his career. And I think if he was available, he might be one of the guys that maybe fall in the second round ish like that, right at range. So he was available. I think the Steelers should take him like that. It's always good to get players who have a lot of untapped potential. You see the flashes and you see the goodness from them, but there can be more that can be brought out of them. If you think you're willing to be able to do that, then you bring them in. So he's one of the guys who I had on the thing as well. Now move on to the last piece right here. The last one is, who the last person? Let me write this down real fast. The last person on the list is Dante Corralane. I might say his name wrong. Dante Corralane. 6'1", 320 pound linebacker from Cincinnati. He was a guy, I knew his name. I knew him a little bit by hearing his name like that. I always say his last name wrong, but I didn't know too much about him fully like that. So if you know about him, leave the conversation down below too as well. But I dive into him for two days as well. But you need more time. I need more than 2 days just to dive into them fully. So I'm gonna be watching stuff on them and watching some of their games as well like that when they play as well to keep up with them to see how they look. But from what I've seen from the stuff I had seen like from previous years and see some of his highlights, some of his full game footage from previous years as well, I think I've seen him just be good at and excellent at leverage and knowing how to maintain leverage. Had a high motor as well. He was very good, had very good power as well. One thing I wrote down as well. And he was very consistent at wrecking and collapsing the line. Like you see him like create havoc. Like he collapsed the line many times like that. I was watching different things. Like sometimes he make the play. Sometimes it's like all about making the play, like getting the sack and getting the tackle. Of course, it's good to make that, but he did a very good job at like just destroying the line like that. He'd go out there, a double team would happen, and he consistently showing you that he can be able to go out there at a solid level and beat double team. He went out there, destroyed the line. He caused the quarterback to step up or step side to step into a sack from someone else. So he did a very good job at doing that and closing the gap. So I was like, okay, he got a potential to being very good, and he has a lot of untapped potential as well, fully, because like he was a guy who you see him be like, like sometimes you see him, he has some like sloppy technique a little bit in a sense, but sometimes you see him, you be like, okay, he looked very good. So I feel like if he can stay consistent with that, if somebody work with him fully, he can be one of those big-time game-changing pieces. I like that on him being consistently a big game record like that, destroying stuff like that. So that right there is just potential in itself right there. So if he was the guy who's available, yeah, bring him in. But these are kind of the 5 guys I have that I don't have for defensive tackles the Steelers could bring in. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think and who you think the Steelers should bring in at defensive tackle. I'll probably dive into maybe receivers or quarterbacks next. We'll see. Probably receivers most likely. More receivers, because I still have some other ones I didn't talk about fully. And maybe some other pieces as well, you know, because we might need another cornerback eventually. Some other pieces eventually too as well as the time goes on. So this is all I have for today's video. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. And Professor Arsenal, we'll see you next time on the channel. Peace out.